commenting. I love this moment because we're through the eclipses, but remember, the eclipses will affect you for weeks, days, months, and they're connected with other eclipses from the past, so it's not a linear world. So this is exciting because what we get to do now, I'm going to light some copal for us, is it happens to be copal, I think it's just copal, and I always do ritual. I always set my space. I always activate my light body. I always cleanse and clear my space with energy work, with shamanic work, communicating with guides of all kinds. Every one of these here are my friends. These aren't just things. I talk to them. They're a part of my life. That is what enriches my life and gives me, gives me the strength to keep moving forward when nobody else understands you or values you or gets what you're going through. And if you want to be validated from exterior, the path to go within is going to get amplified for you, isn't it? And that's what's happening. The eclipse is taking us in a new direction. However, it's also, I'm going to put it on the cinnamon here. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, I was like, wow, the energy is so strong. Hot, but that was actually a part of the copal. Wow, thank you. Okay, I'm fine. And woo, I love that. As a fire sign, I have 2 fire signs, and this year I have 3 fire signs. So I'm a Sag double Leo at the moment. I do have a Libra moon normally, and and so I light things on fire and burn myself a lot. But it's fine, actually. That was, wow, I was like, holy cow, you can sense and feel energy. I can sense and feel energy. So this is who you are. We are waking up. We're going, who am I? It was a Zen practice given to me many years ago by a mentor. Ask it every day, who am I? Go sit by the tree and say, who am I? Go talk to the clouds, talk to the moon, talk to the night, sit in different places, connect to the ants that are going by, connect to this crystal, talking to everything around you as if it was a sentient conscious being, because it is. Now, we like to have this judgment of this is smart and this isn't, and we know dolphins and whales have big giant brains and they've been around for eons and eons, so we kind of go, okay, we kind of get that they're the most evolved. But it isn't just because of their brain size. Everything is a conscious being. Everything is made from the same energy. We're all source energy. So the real question now that's very exciting is to ask, who am I becoming? Who am I designed to be? Who am I at the soul level? So your soul, I'm going to give you a really quick overview of a simple model of how to think about yourself. There's infinite source energy, the void, the field, the scientists call it, the Akasha, black matter. It's really more than just black matter, but the field. And that is a space of chaos. Not chaos like, we're all dying, but there's no form. There's no organization. It's every potential thing all at once, everywhere, like that movie. And so that is this primordial soup. Sometimes it's been called through the ages, and I call it the infinite field, or the infinite. And that source energy doesn't judge anything. It's just everything. And then the reason we're here is that self wanted to experience self. So all of everything wanted to experience what it was, but you can't experience all of everything at once. So I'm hesitating to say time because we're time travelers. I have one speaker coming on to the series. She's amazing. She's a family line healer, a karmic healer. She heals karmic in your family line, but she is also from a lineage where the women through thousands of years are passed down this skill. And yet, in this physical 3D world, she's an MD and a research scientist that the government and other companies hire. They hire her to test energy medicine. They hire her to test what will kill COVID, all these things. And she's coming back to rejuvenating her healing method, and she's going to actually take us through a process and teach us how to do it. And it's called time tunneling, and you go into your time-space continuum. So we have a light structure, we have a light body, we have our chakras, your physical body, what you think is your physical body, your mind. Yes, you have a brain, but your brain intersects with your mind, which is a field, a subtle body. You have an emotional field and a financial field, and on and on and on. There's codes and energy everywhere. There's blocks and powers encoded everywhere. You're here on a fully funded mission. Your soul did not put you together and say, okay, you're going to be a pinnacle life in the soul. So what is the soul? The soul is a blob of this infinite. So we're all one, literally, because there's nothing. This beautiful catacorn mug that I adore. My amazing jaguar spirit guide who's been with me for 6 years now. There's this particular stone, but for more reasons than just the stone. These beings that we call gods or goddesses, dolphins or dolphin spirit guides, Lakshmi, God, ascended masters, everything is conscious. So if we get into the mindset that we were given, we were all conditioned, we know that now, let's get over it. It's not time to keep playing in the wounds. It's not time to wait for something to show up at your door and say, hey, get on your quest, get on your journey. Now is time to go find yourself. Now is time to go find yourself. The world's falling apart the way we knew it, and that means that we're part of that process, and we need to fall apart too. We need to let die who we thought we were, who we were told we could be, who we were told we couldn't be, and whether we have the approval of other people, needing everybody's opinion. I understand it was a very long and painful road for me to unplug from the good opinion of others. However, the beauty, it's 11:11 right here. Woo woo. Thank you. I don't rarely look up at the time, so that was fun. And so we're sentient beings, we're energy beings, we're light beings, we're conscious beings. We're part of a vast consciousness that we then designed. The soul went, okay, here's a big blob of source energy. So now we have a hologram, which is essentially everything also. And that soul then said, ooh, let's play. I have all of these fabulous materials. Let's go be this slave in ancient Egypt, and let's go be this queen in England, and let's go be this healer, and let's go be this and that and this and that and this and that, from Atlantis to Lemuria to ancient Greece or ancient anywhere, the Mayans, whatever. You may or may not feel attracted to something. It doesn't mean that it isn't for you if you don't currently feel attracted to it. And it doesn't mean that it is for you and the only thing for you if you are attracted to it. When you listen, your soul is talking. Everything is talking. And you can't tune into everything, or you become overwhelmed and you become drained. You have to be able to learn how to cleanse and clear the light body so you don't carry so much fear, so much of the past, so much of the blocks, so much of the heaviness, and you can become more of a flow channel. Then you open up these connections and start speaking to fairies and speaking to animals, and remembering when you were a child you saw colored lights in your shower with you that talked to you. I had a client who became very close friends with Death. Death came into her room as a child every night. And it was a beautiful woman in a big black dress, I would say maybe late 1800s kind of dress with a veil over her head, and she sat in the corner of the room. And she never felt scared, and they just talked. And that went on for 8 years. And she didn't realize, she didn't know it was Death. It didn't have a name. It didn't have a label. It was just coming to her. And there's a reason. All right. If you're receiving communication, it may or may not be optimal because you're toxic, you're full of fears, you're carrying judgments of yourself. That attracts energies at low levels. At the same time, we're all waking up. People are popping open. People are, this lady then later wrote a book of what she then understood about death that other people don't understand. We put a label on it, bad, scary, fearful, and then we make horror movies about it. That is not part of my reality. I don't watch that. I don't want it to be a part of my reality. I have no intention of recreating that for myself or for anyone else. So I no longer allow it into me. You have a spiritual body. You have a light body. You have layers and layers and layers. And you have a soul. And that bigger part of your soul, every life you've ever lived and every life you could ever live, all exist right now in that sphere of energy that we call your soul. Okay? Now, when you were designed, I know that you were a pinnacle life because you're here right now. And this has never happened before. I don't know if it at any other planet, but I know right now that we're being watched, and we have been known this for a long time, by a lot of realms, by a lot of stars and planets and angels and other realms. There's realms upon realms of conscious beings that exist in the ethers, interdimensionally, fairies, elves, angels, easier for us to relate to, right? Dolphins, talking to a dolphin or a dolphin spirit guide, or jaguar spirit guide, or some of the ones that are my primary guides. But I started by opening to animal communication, animal energy work, and immediately opened me to communication, not just me becoming a communicator all on my own, but I was then in the space doing the Tellington touch with people from all over the world, and met one of my dear friends who was an animal communicator, and met a lady who taught me vibrational medicine and radionics, and she charted the dogs and cats and horses energy centers and took in energy from things I've never knew possible. So through time, working with shamans, traveling, going to sacred spaces, being inside the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid for 4 hours, 2 days in a row with 200 people, 222 people actually. We weren't all in the King's Chamber. However, doing our energy work, activating, releasing, ascending, interconnecting with the other times and spaces when people were there. Maybe your awakening is coming through a meditation process, or it's spontaneously opening. Last year I had a client who came to do a session about a beloved, a soulmate or love, or that aspect of her life. And we always do what's optimal for your highest good. I'm a channel for that. So I work with all these energies. I've traveled to all these places. I communicate with all these different realms. I have many different senses that have been awakened and activated over time. But I came from a place of, I had no spiritual, no religious upbringing at all. I had no understanding of anything other than work hard and suffer a lot and make sure you don't embarrass me and look successful. So if you have those patterns, you're just like most people. And our lives were not a waste up to this point. If you are at the point in your awakening, like many of my students and clients, where they start to realize they're being controlled by their emotions and their stories and what everybody else thinks and what happened in the past and their expectations and their cravings, and they start to master that, start to be able to recognize that energy, to shift that energy, to listen to a deeper or a more inner voice, to determine between the ego voice and the soul blueprint voice and the divine voice. Okay, there's a lot of layers, and when you become more internally focused, like you trust yourself, you start to communicate with your guides, you realize your certain talents, you have certain lives, we call them past lives, but they could be past, present, future, other stars, whatever, other lives that you've lived within your soul, and you could access any of them. However, at a soul level before you're born, you your part of your soul design is like a big party and a big meeting, and you're all there, including you, but you aren't you now. You were designing you now. So you weren't designed to be a failure. You weren't designed to be abused. You weren't designed to never be good enough. You weren't designed to work really hard but then lose everything, like I was. Just, I would make a lot of money and work harder than anyone else and become better and win this and all Europe in basketball and, you know, win this award and that award and do $1 million in their first year of business and fashion design business and on and on and on, because my 3D programming told me that my value was in what I achieved, and I had the strength and the wherewithal to keep going, no matter what. And at the first big breakdown, when I had to close my fashion design company, I was almost 30. I understand now that's a very profound moment in our lives. And basically now I understand that it was my soul. It was my soul saying, okay, enough of that. It's time to move on. You've gotten what you need from this. And this life is about that. It's about completing relationships, completing patterns. Do you have a pattern in love relationships where you're always possessed or sought after or controlled or fought over? And at one point in your life, you were flattered by it. And now you see that it's a prison, that it's controlling you, and you don't know how to get out of it. Maybe you're waking up to be receiving messages in your dreams, or you're walking through a lot of my students start to walk in their day the way the Maya did, the way I do, which is you're in multiple dimensions at one time. You are in your 3D body, but you're aware that there's spiritual beings with you, or you're aware of the parts of you that you've called up, or you're aware of the expanded energy you've just activated when you activated your light body that morning. Everybody needs a light body routine. It's no different than taking a shower, brushing your teeth. You need to take care of your spiritual side of you. It is the bigger part of you. And who are you becoming? You're becoming somebody who knows that. You're becoming a multidimensional conscious being. And that's what the wave of consciousness that we're in, unity, the top platform of the Mayan pyramid, is the 9th wave of consciousness, and it's unity. And that's where we are. So you're reuniting with your truth, with these parts of your soul that were designed in. And so there were powerful lives that had very deep wounds that were all similar, and they were gathered together, and then they were attached to you. They were attached to your blueprint, okay? So the cool part is that we know that now. The not cool part is that we've suffered a lot, we've been confused a lot, we've worked hard, we've lost things, we feel betrayed. There's been all these things that have happened to us. You've had highs and lows your whole life, and listen, you haven't done anything wrong. You are following the path as best you could at each level of awareness and consciousness. Give me one moment, please. Thank you. So what happens is that your life is telling you a story. If you could read your life from an archetypical point of view, from a magical point of view, from your soul's blueprint, because your soul believes in magic, because your soul knows magic, because what we call magic is just understanding the mysteries and alchemy and energy, and that you're a vehicle, but you aren't your body, and that you're part of this soul that's a part of everything, and that you have access to all the things that this whole meeting thought you needed when you came into this life. So we're always told we're not good enough, and yet at the same time we're completely fully equipped. I call it being here on a fully funded mission. And when we don't live that way, then all the skills and all the guides and all the spirits that are there trying to help us find the way, or help us heal, or direct us to a new mentor or a new healer or whatever, right? This is going on all the time. You are not alone. You are guided all the time. You have the talents and powers in you. You're encoded with whatever you need, whatever I say is required, okay? But not for your ego needs. This is because your soul has to move forward. And the energies that we're in, the spiritual weather report that I do weekly, if you're new to me, yay, please come to the spiritual weather report here on my YouTube channel, subscribe, click notifications, things. We're going to be going on all week with speakers this week for the Who Am I Becoming series. We're going to dive into the most fascinating things. Tomorrow we're going to dive into astrology and what it is telling us right now about the volatile energies we're in the middle of. We've just come through 2 eclipses. There's powerful energies afoot, but the opportunities are opening as the same time as the shit's falling apart. So if you can learn to master your emotions, if you can learn to observe and separate yourself from the drama and the story, and then eventually learn to just disconnect from that and then live here in the center of you, you're going to start to see that your whole life, your path is luminous. It's filled with all of this guidance. If you feel a resonance with the dolphins, they're there with you. If you feel a resonance with fairies, they're there with you. If you love cats and jaguars and panthers and Sekhmet and Bast and all of these beautiful beings like I do, they're there with you. It isn't a fantasy. It isn't something that you wished when you were little and then were told, don't be silly, grow up. Grow up means forget who you are. Forget that magic is real. Forget that you're the creator of your reality, and that the parts of our world that were created to thrive off of you behaving a certain way want you to stay that way. But you're waking up and you're not doing anything wrong by waking up. Who are you becoming? You need to start saying, who am I becoming? Who am I done with being? Who am I done with? Like, what are you fed up with? Or what are you just ready to not be, do, have, live through ever again? Now, I'm not saying you can control it and right in that second, it will never happen again, because I just went through a bunch of dental surgery and a whole lot of fucking pain. And I had sworn that off and been doing my own healing, and I'd done really well for a while. So my first reaction was, wow, I failed. And that old voice that becomes a being, becomes a strong part of you, came up and started saying, right? Oh, see, here you go again. You're being dragged back to prison. You're going to be tortured again. You're going to have to go through pain. You're going to have to go through fear. It's all your fault. You're never going to be free. The barrage of stuff that was coming from this deep, deep, deep dungeon, because I've been doing this work for over 36 years and I've been on my path. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Nobody is. It's an ever-evolving spiral. Please, please remember that. There isn't a goal. You're going to have to let go of all your 3D mindsets about goals and certainty and guarantees, because they don't exist, and you're waking up to that. You're becoming spiritually mature. People are waking up and have no idea what's happening to them and have no guidance in this area, and you're here. So woo! Way to go. High five. Yeah. So let me say hi here. Hi, Sylvia and Sherry and Destine and Iritag. And been roughed up this week. Yes, we have 12-12. Nice. And we have been roughed up. We've been through the Play-Doh factory. You know, the Play-Doh factory, and then you shove it and it comes out like a star shape. But part of it is like squeezed away. That's what's been going on. And the 2 eclipses carried us somewhere new. And you may already be seeing, sensing differences in how you think, perceive things. I almost immediately, during the eclipse, Friday, the second eclipse, I could feel it for the 4 hours it was happening, and it felt like heaviness, 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 lots of crown activity. And I did some certain things. I did a lot of writing, and I just was in the moment. And this is what you have to do more, is listen. There's guidance everywhere, and you could make your life more easy. You could find that your trust and your security and your safety is inside of you, is in your ability to see and sense the guides that are around you. You're never left alone. There's always something somewhere. As deep as you go, as hard as it may to get through to you, you may be so low, so full of shame, so full of anger, so full of blame, so full of victimhood, so full of whatever it is, okay? Grief is another very, very low energy, and it's filled with regret. And those are very difficult energies to carry. They're very painful to our emotional body. They stun our minds. They just freeze everything. And if you're there, the sooner that you accept that you're there and you start to look around and you say, oh, well, why am I here? Because there's a huge blob of shame that's following you around that you agreed to, that's embedded in you. And it's from these 3 different lives. And those lives are right here, right now, asking for you to say, let's all get together and release it. And they're here because you're the pinnacle life. You're the one living the physical 3D life with the higher level consciousness that can access all of this, but you need to catch up with your spiritual evolution. So you're becoming something very quickly in your own way. It's happening for everybody differently, right? So now let's take a look at some information, and then we're going to go on a journey, because this is about your soul powers. I want you to re-access your soul powers. I want you to realize this is based on what I've personally experienced over 36 years in this life of conscious spiritual experience, and I have a lot of memories of my childhood, like many of you might. The client, I was telling you about, came to one session, and afterwards her childhood powers of seeing and talking to dead people came back. And in the next session, she told me that. And she was like, I kind of had forgotten that I did that. And then it just happened. It was just like that. It was like turning on a faucet. See, sense, hear, 1,000% accurate, but it's freaking her out a little bit, and she was afraid to tell anybody, right? So this is the reason for this. This is for people who are waking up. You could be on your spiritual path for 10,000 years. You could be doing it, working like I was. I took my initial training in this life of work really hard, and I brought it into my spiritual path. As everything fell apart in that deconstruction, I went looking for something completely different. So the breakdown your experiences in whatever way in your life is liberating you. It is it's a freedom. It is your soul saying, nope, you don't need this anymore. Let it go. And it could be very painful within. You could be afraid of who you're going to hurt, or if you might leave a relationship, you could be afraid that it's time to leave a job, or what if you agree to a job and then you leave, or that you told somebody, last year that you would do something, but now it doesn't align with who you are. Guess what? Number one priority is you. You have to be the spiritual being that takes care of you. You are the caretaker of your purpose and your path. You have a connection to your higher self, your body elemental, your I am presence, to Gaia. Those are all a part of your ingrained intuitive network. The dolphins have been bringing us, if you've done any of my dolphin work, they've been bringing and reactivating a crystalline grid network within our light body field that is activating more senses and is helping us to recalibrate ourselves back to our soul's signature frequency. So this is a quest. It's a magical, mythical journey. This is a fairy tale. This is like going into the archetypes, the magical, the mystical parts of you to say, wow, who am I really? Because you're the one creating your life, but you're creating it through everybody else. Whose life are you living? You're not living yours. And as far as you've come, congratulations, you're still not living yours 100%. So there's always something new to excitingly explore. I am not complete in any way, shape, or form. I love where I am compared to where I was in the past. Do I have more skills and talents? I get visions, nonstop visions. I can channel, talk to so many things. I see people's energy fields. I talk to all different dimensions. Yes, and I love all of it. And so wherever you are in your path, if you have a desire for visions like I used to, it took me years, okay, to access visions. And I think that my craving for it made it harder. It was like restricting. I want that. Why can't I have that? These people are talking to goddesses, and these people are seeing angels, and I'm just sitting here feeling nothing, or feeling happy, or seeing pink. So evolution of your powers, your intuitive powers, is remembering something that's a part of you, but that's dormant, and that was also infected, and it was infected with fear. It isn't safe to be a healer. It isn't safe to be psychic. It isn't safe to talk to angels. It isn't safe. They lock you up. They give you drugs. They make you go have a lobotomy. They burn you at the stake. They outcast you. They criticize you. They devalue you. They fire you. Okay, and all these things have happened to you, and all these things have happened to everybody, and that's why your other lives are so key. You have to acknowledge that you have multiple dimensions to your soul, and that we live at many levels, and that you're right now in a time-space continuum, which is a structure of light based on your soul blueprint. However, it's a tunnel of light you're walking in that's created from your soul's blueprint. How much you see of it, how much you connect to it, how you feel moving through your life, that's completely in your hands. It wasn't taught to you that way, but the mystery schools were there for that. The awakening that's happening right now is there for that. If you're talking to your cat, if you go to the river and you feel the nature spirits near you, if you're downloading beautiful, poetic, information, if you're going through a death in the family and you're able to be more present and sit with the pain and feel that the pain and the pleasure are there, that the love and the loss are there, that everything has two sides to it because you're part of this infinite, and that these things that you've been through in your life are part of the archetypal hero's journey that you need to realize. You have a soul power, you have a soul fear, you have a soul gift, you have a soul desire. You have a soul blueprint that is encoded with so many different things. Triggers. I had no interest in real estate investing, didn't even know what it was. And one day, boom, 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 7 days in a row, Spirit speaking to me through an infomercial of all weird things. I was taught not to buy things from TV. It was a huge ordeal that communication got through to me. But it took 7 nights before I realized, wait a minute, this is communication. And it opened a door to a part of my life that was so powerful. I was so engaged with. I knew the minute that I stepped into it, this is for me. But I didn't know beforehand. I now live in the Mayan land, and I'm a Jaguar spirit woman, and I work with the energies here every day, and I talk with the dolphins and take people there and do recalibrations, and I do all my magic work, and I combine everything from all my different lives, from my Egyptian experience, from my Native American shamans, from the shamans here, from just all of these things, but they come together inside of me, and then they come out of me in a unique way because of my soul's design. You're the same way. Love and accept who you are. Trust that you designed yourself at a soul level with so much guidance, so much help with the infinite field, and you have all these other parts of you. The fun thing is that we're going to specifically focus today on connecting you with an ancient, or what we would call a past in a linear sense. We live in a spherical consciousness, okay? Everything is spherical. It's all here. Just depends where you look. Ooh, medieval times. Ooh, I'll go to that one. So we have a lot of dark age, medieval time, heavy energy that people are releasing on the planet. This is torture, cruelty, disease, disrespect, disconnect, complete control, a lot of poverty, a lot of punishment. All right, a lot of people who were healers or psychics in any way, shape, or form were sought after, but it became dangerous because the powers didn't want you, but they did hire you secretly. And many other lives that have similar pains of experiences of you were accused and betrayed by your family and then burned at the stake. So you have certain wounds, you have certain feelings about that. That turned into a decision that your soul made. That decision was something like this. Now, I've seen this in so many clients over the years, so many students. People who didn't believe in past lives would go, well, I just experienced a past life and I don't understand because I don't believe in them. And I'm like, well, what did it tell you? Well, it solved all my problems. I feel completely free now. Well, then just go with that. Who cares what it was? Was it a past life? I don't know. Just say thank you and you go with it. Okay? So your other lives hold powers. They hold powers like maybe they knew herbs and they created medicines. Maybe they knew energy medicine. Maybe they knew studied at particular schools and they understood anatomy, or they understood subtle anatomy or alchemy. Maybe they understood. It doesn't have to be spiritual. Okay, it's a lot of what's awakening right now are the mystical powers that you have in your soul that live in many other lives. And these are accessible by you, especially if they were chosen to be a part of your soul blueprint. So like I said, if you feel drawn to something, go towards it. I first was like, I don't even have a clue. And then I remembered people making fun of Shirley MacLaine, because this was way, way, way long time ago, about her new book and her talking about leaving her body and spiritual search and meditation. So I read that and it blew my mind. And then I read another book and I read another book, and there was no internet and all the rest of that. And my path wound along like this: meditation, and then dolphins from another planet came in, and then sacred geometry and flower of life and mystery schools and the Melchizedek method and the Gaiadan method and Reiki and Silva method certifications and Tellington touch and animal communication and radionics and frequency work and working with the masters and the ascended masters and channeling gods and goddesses and on and on and on. So your path needs to unfold the way that's optimal for you. So I'm telling you that if you feel excited about something, move towards it. Don't think it is the solution, the end. It could be the doorway that leads you to the next thing, where you meet somebody that really has something that interests you, or you have multiple people like I did within a community, a spiritual community, that you start to mentor with or learn with or bring pieces of the puzzle together for you. When I first discovered the Melchizedek method mystery school, it put together all the pieces for me. All the different things I had learned in all the different places just woof. And suddenly I was one with my light body, and I understood I am one, and I am one mind, one heart. I am everything. And within that space, and I started to pay much closer attention to the life that was trying to go on within here instead of the one there. We're literally meant to come here to create worlds. Okay? So I want you to write down some things that are coming up for you, okay? Write down some things that are coming up for you as we're talking about this. Write, who am I becoming? Who am I designed to be? Who did I think I was? Who did everyone else tell me I should be? Start to explore this topic, because we're going to spend a week together, and I'm going to do another deep dive of teaching and a process like we're about to go into at the end of the week. So during the week, I'm going to have guests, and we're going to come and we're going to do processes and reveal different things to you about how you can tune into who you're becoming, let go of who you thought you were, what's dying, what's liberating you in your world. So write these questions down, ask them throughout the day. Notice in your environment what's showing up around you. What parts of your soul are speaking to you? Okay, they're speaking to you. Speaking to you. All right, so make sure you check out my retreat. I have one coming up in July, and we do a lot of magic. We do a lot of activations and healing work and light body work. We work with the dolphins on 3 different days. We go into the Mayan ceremonies and to the pyramids and to the jungles and the waters. It's incredible. So here's our schedule coming up. This is I decided last night, this came to me. This is a Magical Me mystery tour with me, with Akasha. And here's our different people are coming: Joan of Angels and astrological influences from Donna, and more and more. And my dear friend Alon, the Genesis doctor, is coming. I'm so excited that that's going to work out. And so make sure that you get on the list at nanakasha.com. All the links you need are below. We'll be live here every day, and you'll know all about it if you have a subscription here and get notifications too. You'll get like an email or something that tells you that. So since I'm the first speaker and you may not know who I am, I'll just share my bio with you quickly. nanakasha.com is where you can find out everything. If you get on the list there, we'll send you notices of everything that's happening. Shop.nanakasha.com has almost everything that we sell, and the nanakasha.com/retreat is a where you can learn about the upcoming retreats in December and July. And we're cooking up some wonderful new ones for next year. So things are evolving very, very quickly. And as a visionary multi-mystery school initiate, recently went to another level of initiation with the jaguar skull in a Mayan ceremony, and was downloaded with a new level of vision. And one of my clients said, geez, years ago, that I had an uncanny ability to see right to the core of your challenge. And at the time, I didn't have the full understanding and awareness of how light body structure worked, how spiritual energy worked, how communication with multiple realms worked, what I was actually doing, what parts of my soul I was connecting to, how I was co-creating and actually creating my own reality. That's what I understand now. So I kept wanting to be able to see and sense and travel and move energy more and more on multiple dimensions. And that's what drove my path. I wanted to create a soul healing and understand myself from a soul level instead of what everybody told me I needed to be. So I do this multidimensional shamanic healing. That's what we're doing here. Recently had a client tell me I was a heart chakra with legs, and the other one said, you're just pure love. And I really love that, because I've carried a lot of fear, a lot of lack of self-acceptance, a lot of struggle, a lot of pain. And my daughter died, and I was disowned, and I lost everything in a bankruptcy, and on and on and on. And so my life hasn't been perfect in any sense of the word, and that's in our 3D mind, but it's unfolded along the path of my soul. That is my soul trying to get my attention, trying to help me through the dark periods when I was not paying attention, and was, always there. So a spirit guide channel and animal and dolphin communicator. Animal communication was one of my very first, and care. And I like to open you to your inner truth. I want you to connect to your powers. I want you to remember your purpose. And your purpose is to remember your purpose, is to remember your powers, is to reconnect to your path, is to take care of your multidimensional self. Okay? So I've written lots of books and programs. A lot of my clients call me the fairy godmother, and I finally adopted that. I really love that. And I'm so happy that you're here with me. And so let's just look at the idea of who am I? So this is a timeless tool for self-discovery. That's what I'm about. What you're experiencing right now is you entered into a sacred light sphere. This is a chamber between the worlds. We're actually at infinity. We have a gold and silver cone of light above and below us. We're wrapped in the all-seeing eye. We're surrounded by the flower of life. It's an Akashic ascension sphere. And in that space, you've been being supported and loved. You've been being gifted and removed whatever is optimal for you at this time in this sacred space that I've created for you, and that you can learn to create for yourself, is giving you the ability to tune into who you're designed to be, not to who you were told you were. Okay? So you're a multidimensional spirit being with vast wisdom, knowledge, and powers, and you have access to time and space, and you can heal wounds in other lives of your soul, and then that heals the wounds in this life. And then guess what you do? Inside of the wound, inside of the problem, inside of the fear, inside of the wall, inside of the block, inside of the challenge is the door. And the door opens to a new truth and a new reality, and there you get to receive the powers that were being held hostage in that fear. So my upcoming class is going to take you through an archetypical magical quest to discover who you are, to this magical mystery tour to see who am I. And because within you, a lot of your powers are held hostage. They're tied up in fears and wounds and things you may or may not know about. You cannot know the whole truth. You can only know the truth that you're in. And once you're willing to accept it, you don't have to live in that wound anymore. You get released through it, and you gain the powers like a game. You gain the powers of that level, and now you're stronger, and you reclaim powers that you couldn't access before. So when I talk about your soul powers, I'm talking about your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your ability to speak to plants, animals, your ability to know the psyche, know people, your ability to love a lot of people, your wonderful lives doing anything where you gained a power or a skill you learned from a lineage or a school, whether it was a sacred mystery school or anything else, you have access to these, okay? And you can move through time and space and outside of it. That's fairly easy once you accept and understand who you really are. So today we're going to discover the power in your past lives. And we just say past because in a linear sense, the time frame that they're in, we believe, was in the past. So if there's a conscious memory that you have or a feeling that you were burned at the stake, or if you remembered some of your past lives and you experienced it, I've had many past lives. I had a past life where my dad in this life and my mother and my sister in this life were my sisters, and my dad was our father, and he was a very strict Protestant type of preacher, and I was a little fairy girl. I talked to nature. Nature told me what to tell people to heal, what herbs to take, and different things. And he preached against this, and ultimately caused my death. And this all came to me through, suddenly I was in the middle of learning a lot of these healing methods and working with animals primarily at that time, and communicating with nature, traveling in other realms. And my parents came to visit, and we had a field full of tumbleweeds, so we were cleaning it up, and a big spider jumped out, ran up my dad's leg and bit him. And then so we went in the house, and it started swelling very badly, very quickly, turned into a very big red bubble thing. My mom was a nurse, and so she was sitting there doing whatever she could, I don't know what, and I just stared at him for a minute, and the energy field of the spider and him started to talk to me. And before I knew it, I walked outside, I broke a piece of aloe vera off, I came in and I started rubbing the aloe vera on him. Now that's a fairly common knowledge thing now, although it is the first thing I do with bites of all kinds here, and then the next level of other things to do. However, it wasn't a conscious thought. It wasn't let's see, what do I do for a bite? It was like I stepped into another time wave, and in that time wave, you can travel through time is what I'm talking about. So what I did was I stepped into a different life with my dad, that life I just told you about, and my mother was there too, and I didn't realize any of it. I just went over, did the action, and I wiped it on it, and they both were just frozen staring at me. And then we watched it, and it literally began to shrink just from that. And clearly whatever other energy I held in that life, the power of communicating with plants, because yes, in a physical body, we often need the physical substance. However, we can connect to the consciousness, the energy, the frequency, the vibration of the healing essence of that substance. Turquoise might be one of them. At this point, it was aloe vera. So something from that other life took over, and I merged with that timeline, and they just moved my body, and I did this thing. So whatever other energy was there, because I doubt that just aloe vera would heal a spider bite of that size. It was an enormous spider. And so there was a lesson in that. There was a reason for that to happen. So when you learn to read symbols, to look through your life, not from judgment, but as this quest, as this magical journey, and realize, wow, look at this. I've been up and down. I've been through this and that, just like a hero, just like a story, just like a movie. I am the heroine. And I'm here to go through these pains and these different things because this is the best path to my soul's purpose. But if I don't wake up and take a conscious shift into this, you want to consciously, you don't have to, I didn't have to consciously know how to do that. Time, it's a time I don't know, why am I going time wave, time tunnel? It's a timeline. It's a timeline shift. And you can do this on a daily basis. You could do this in your job. You could do this in your work. You could just suddenly merge with a part of you from another life that knows how to speak up, or another part of your life that knows, how to be patient and kind, or to see through the words that person is saying to you if they're trying to manipulate you. All right, so I want you to understand that these things can happen, that you can do them, that you're a multidimensional soul that exists at all these levels, and this is going to start happening whether people like it or not, understand it or not. And instead of being freaked out about it and being put in a mental hospital or going through a lot of sickness and struggle with it, it's better to connect with a mentor like me or somebody that you resonate with to find your path, because there's a lot of help now. There's a massive amount of information out there. There's a lot of people teaching and talking that are brand new at their own awakening. And it's great if they feel inspired and there's certain people who resonate with them. You've got to listen to who you resonate with, not with your mind. What does your heart tell you? Are you listening to your heart? I keep seeing the butterfly eggs. A butterfly laid eggs on my door. And it faces the sun. It gets direct sun. So I find it odd because I thought they normally do it on the bottom side of a leaf. But they keep flashing in my head. So there's something about butterflies and butterfly eggs that are communicating with us right now. So in that moment, one of the things that happened, and the reason it was orchestrated, because at the time I didn't even become aware for quite a while that I had done this merging into this other timeline. However, the past life came through to me very quickly in the next moment, because as we watched that shrink, they looked at it and then they looked up at me, and my dad said, "What are you, a witch?" With such strength in his voice. It was not his voice. He's a soft-spoken man. He doesn't raise his voice in this body. And it was this, "What are you, a witch?" This accusational energy that came through. So if you're like me and you have conscious memories of being accused of being a witch, or in whatever other way, there was a lot of lives where I was a psychic advisor or spiritual advisor, and then I became feared because of what I knew about the person of power. So then I was therefore betrayed, and outcast often, or something worse. So can be a lot of fears when you decide to reconnect to your truth of your soul. Okay. And just know these are the things you can do. I've also shared before about my client who began to start to consciously be able to stop time and make choices. So you might have tried to extend time, like you're late picking up your children, and you just say, "I just need the extra time," and you look at the clock, and then you see yourself driving up right on time, and everybody's happy, everyone's safe and whole, and then you don't look at the clock again, and you drive with that vision in your mind, safely looking at the road, until you get there. There's a lot of ways, and this is, like I said, kind of an easy skill when you start to understand your spiritual anatomy, the light body structure that we live inside of, how things are formed and created. You use and talk to the sacred geometry, the sacred structures, the sacred cycles, the seasons, the celestials, the energies, the crystals, the ores, the metals of the earth have a lot to say. Yes, thank you. I know I never mention you, do I? And so we are earth seeds. We are also star seeds. I have not met a single person in a star seed session who didn't have at least one other star that they had lived on. It could have been an originating star where they first were embodied in, could have been where they went to university, it could have been where their mission in this life started. So, but you're here on earth. So number one, you're made of earth, you're a part of earth's ascension, and your soul is at some level of the plan in your soul, you're tied to the earth's ascension, and we're all together as one doing that. So that's an example of one of the things that you can do as you become familiar with who you are. Okay? So you want to stop waiting. I know that people are so diligent. So many of you are such excellent caretakers for you. You're working so hard at it. You've got your crystal room and you do your meditation, and a lot of my students do their light body activation every day, and they do their intuition accelerator practices and work, and they do their self scans, and they're getting every day into a flow of communication with these other parts of them, because these are the parts that hold the revelation. You're not who you think you are. You're more vast than you thought you were. You can't wait around anymore. Your destiny is literally waiting, is designed. Now, everybody's waking up to a part of themselves that holds timeless wisdom. Now, you might be connecting with a soulmate or a twin flame. Don't confuse those. A twin flame is not a soulmate. A twin flame is a very powerful yet difficult relationship that's often about building a business or doing something else together while also exploring a love relationship, but often doesn't stay the way that a soulmate would. So maybe that's your focus, and you're like, I don't care about waking up my intuition. I just want love in my life, or I need more money in my life, or I need to know how to do what I love and make money, or I need to know, where to move, or how to get out of my current living situation, or how to remove myself from this job or this relationship. Those are your real life 3D wants. Underneath that is an energy that's blocking it, and an energy that's calling you. Those come from both your ego and from your infinite self. If you don't learn to discern those voices within you, you're susceptible to the lies and false words, manipulations, gaslighting, all that kind of stuff from everyone around you. And it happens all the time, even when people aren't conscious of it. Our entire history is bullshit. It was all written by a few people who were the conquerors, who had nobody with a cell phone watching them, being able to keep them honest. They wrote whatever they wanted about themselves. And this is the time when your timeless wisdom needs to come forth. We need your timeless wisdom. None of the rest of us have yours. We need your intuitive gifts. We need you to develop your psychic powers. Don't get afraid of the word psychic, okay? Free yourself from this false self-image and engage the powers your souls had endowed you with. I want you to be inspired to do that. So take this week with me and write down, who am I? Who am I becoming? Who am I fed up with? Who am I done with being? And who am I designed to be? Who is here to help me? What parts of me are here to help me? What angels, what guides, what parts of, what ascended masters, what crystals, what ancient mentors are here to help me? There's so much. It's so much fun when you get into your own magical path. And I'm going to share in a few days about my new class, where we're going to go on this magical journey on a quest, and you're going to discover your soul's powers. You're going to discover your spirit guides. You're going to discover these things, because when you realize that you can move through time and space, you can engage your past and your future self's wisdoms and skills. You can work together. You can heal them and you can heal you. All of you can work together, but they can also continue on to another aspect of their lives, therefore enriching your entire soul. So we're deep into our spiritual metamorphosis. There's no longer, everybody on the planet sees it differently. If you're not into a spiritual path, then you just think the world's falling apart and the economy is going to crash and you should live in fear. I invite you to leave that reality, because it's an illusion that is attached to shame, blame, fear, anger, control, and all the rest of those low states of consciousness. You don't have to live there. They're a perspective. Certainly, that's your choice. But since there's no stopping this metamorphosis, you can move through it in anger. You can move through it with people that you fight with. You can move through it being criticized. You can move through it hiding from your powers. You can move through it wishing and wanting and waiting and never just getting out of your comfort zone and doing it. You could want to come to my dolphin healing retreat and keep stopping yourself. One day I'll do it. One day I'll do it. When will that day be? When there's another pandemic and you can't? And the minute that you suddenly can't physically do it, or can't for some other reason do it anymore? I'm getting to an age where I realize some of the things I really want to do might never happen. I would love to jump out of a plane. I would like to do some things that physically I'm getting in better shape again, and I have a very strong athletic body. However, there's just certain realities I have to realize, and it makes me want to realize that today is the day for me to discover, who am I? What skills were I endowed with? What ancient secrets do I hold? What is the unique energies that could combine within me, become stronger within me, and then I become this special elixir of light in the world? So this is going to be your week to embrace it. That's faster, easier, more fun. We're going to bring you tools. We're going to bring you information. We're going to bring you ahas, because you've been specifically designed to be this pinnacle life. Just what I told you. You're alive now to free yourself, all of you, all of your soul, and therefore that goes into the Akasha, and therefore that's available to everybody who realizes that they can access the Akasha, or maybe they don't realize it and it just comes downloading through them. I could be free today because you spoke up in your life, because you freed yourself from the inner pain or judgment of yourself, and you stepped one step closer to living the life that your soul intended. So I want you to find out what secret your soul has for you today by discovering an ancient, wise, spiritual power that your soul has hidden and is now been unearthed because of the work you've been doing. It's been unearthed because of the changes in the planet and within you. It's been unearthed because of this sacred moment. Is a destiny moment. You're here with me. We are all here because this was our destiny. Okay, this was our destiny to be together doing this work right now in this moment with these astrological energies, this place in your life. Trust that. Fate is when you feel stuck and unable to be a conscious co-creator in your life. Destiny is when you trust and realize you're encoded with your fully funded mission. You have wisdom, power, spiritual guides, and all of the things you need within you, and you just have to go within. I want to warn you, when you work with me, it's deep. It goes to the core of your truth. You're going to have a powerful shift from just what we've done up to now, and we're just about to dive into our process. Because I create the sacred space, and it's working with you. I align with your highest good and what's optimal for your soul's awakening, for your soul powers right now, and I see that within you. When you come here, I see your truth. I don't see you in all of your pain, even though my clients and students come and they feel safe to say their truth, to say their pain, to say their struggles, because in that space, there's no judgment. I don't see you from 3D. I see and accept you from 5D. So this is a dive into your truth. You can't play small anymore. You know it. You can't pretend to be weak. You can't be powerless and want to have your life back. You can't want to make more money and be afraid of speaking up or saying what you want or telling people they have to pay you before you give them what they want. There's nothing wrong with that. This is time to reaccess your ancient soul power. Okay, so since you're now aware this is real transformation at a multidimensional level, I'm not promising you any particular healing or result because you are different than everybody here. You're at a different point in your path. You're going to open to the next level. I can guarantee you that I bring together a powerful team and a powerful space because this mystical, magical being that you are in a multidimensional light body that's encoded with all of your powers and wisdoms and all of your wounds and all your walls or blocks. That is the truth of this moment. And when we accept that, we can witness it, we can see it, we can co-create with it, we can receive it, we can start to process, digest, release the toxins of the old to rediscover this path. So I want you to get comfortable wherever you are. I want you to lay down. I do not script these. I do not know exactly how this is going to come through. I've been a channeler creating myself as a clearer and clearer light body to channel the highest good for all concerned. I can promise you that this is a safe place of light and love, and that only what will come through is for your highest good. There is no darkness that is in any way going to harm you. You have a part of you that is a shadow part. We have to. That shadow part is not a bad part. It's usually where you hide most of your real power. So if you're feeling grief, anxiety, shame, you're not doing anything wrong. You're feeling and seeing what's most important right now, what your soul wants you to notice. And as soon as you just accept it, it can start to shift. Now, during the week, I'm going to be sharing about your ascension sickness. We're evolving so quickly. You might get headaches. You might get a lot of stomach problems or digestive problems. You might have abscesses or things coming up from that are hidden, or old diseases or patterns or symptoms come up. Don't believe them. Take care of it, whatever you need to do in the physical, but realize it is a re-emergence of an old toxin from this or other lives that must leave you. And if it's coming up now in that way, like my abscesses under my tooth, I had to give in and walk through the fear, walk through the pain, walk through all of the stuff that it brought up for me. Is like, oh, I'm going to be forever tortured. But guess what happened? I've gone through it. I'm using the energy up. I'm becoming empowered by it. And I'm seeing that I still have a part of me, a very small part of me, that tries to drag me down into that powerlessness. That is not who I am, and I do not agree with it. But I accept it when it comes up, because if I don't, it's just going to travel around as a burden. I've been freed through these eclipses from this huge burden from my shoulders, my posture, my neck, seeing myself and my light body. I came through, had heaviness in the beginning on Friday, and then as it lifted, I felt lighter and lighter. I felt like I was walking and seeing things from a higher dimension. I could see through more dimensions. So I know that the equinox brought me a new level of jaguar vision, that is seeing through the dark powers of the shaman, and a new level of healing energies with the dolphins as well. This eclipse is the same thing. It's happening the same for you. All of these things are simply initiations and portals and opportunities to hone yourself and reconnect to what's happening. Okay, so your spiritual anatomy means that you have many layers of you that have to adjust, that have to get rid of blocks, fears, old energies. Those might make you feel nauseated. You might get dizzy. You might have to lay down a lot. You may feel hyper. You may suddenly feel afraid. You might get itchy. You might get a rash. All of these things are different forms of ascension sickness, and all that it means is pay attention. It is talking to you. What it's saying might be the traditional thing, but it's got more to say. And the sooner you tune into your own self, the sooner you'll start to get your own information about what it's saying to you, because everything has a voice and everything's talking to you. Okay. Now, I'm going to share some more about my new Infinite Self Mystery School course that's starting soon, about your spiritual design, this quest to rediscover and reassemble yourself according to your soul's design, this magical me mystery tour into your soul power and design. It's going to be woot way fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive in now into our beautiful and incredible process. So we're going to go for probably, I'm guessing 10 minutes, and a lot of my processes can be deeper and longer, but they're being guided by spirit right now. So feel free to lay down, feel free to adjust your comfort level, and I'm going to get a sip here while you go ahead and take some nice, slow, deep breaths up through your nose, bathe your third eye, your crown, your brain, and then let it come down. Start to awaken your intuitive senses by looking at it, seeing it as it moves through your body, through your aura, through your field. Do you feel a feeling? Does it feel liquid or misty? Is there a color? Is there sensation? Is there warmth? Do you feel nothing? Are you thinking of symbols? There's communication going on all the time. Take another slow, deep breath in and say, I am that I am. And I am fully present here, open mind, open heart. Let that breath go. And begin to accept that you're here by destiny. Therefore, these energies coming in through your breath and moving through your body are releasing, unlocking, relaxing all the energies that hold you back from your soul's powers that are ready to awaken, that are optimal for your highest good at this time. Say in your heart or out loud, I am ready and willing to be a clear and open channel to re-access my soul's powers. And today I'm an open channel for an ancient power from a life in my soul that I would call a past life, that is powerful and relevant, ripe and ready, that I have a soul destined agreement with to, on this day and this time, reconnect from a conscious level to heal both of us, to move through wounds, to create freedom within the grid of light in the bodies, the central channel, through the aura and the mind. I am ready to connect with ease and grace. I'm ready to release my blame and anger, my craving, my judgment. I'm ready and willing to fully enter this sacred space. I feel this light chamber around me. I allow my senses to connect to my heart and anchor there. I allow my higher self, my body elemental, to merge and to connect with me. And relax and be an excellent receiver. Drop out of the logical mind into the sacred space of your eternal heart. The eternal heart is not the broken heart. It's not the brave heart. It's not the wounded heart. It is not the greedy heart. Those all now we ask to leave this space, to leave this time, to leave taking the vows, the attachments, the karmic knots, taking the secrets that no longer serve the greater good, that no longer serve my soul's growth, evolution, and re-empowerment. Now relax as the energies that are optimal for you begin to weave through your heart into 8 different dimensions, releasing, bringing in soothing love and light from each of these dimensions, creating a flower of infinite flow. The light comes in, goes out, nourishes, releases. Receive, receive, relax, relax. Now allow this weave to be activated to infinity. And that weave that created this flower with 8 petals that weave energy in and out of your heart center, in to the soul's sacred heart, out to the furthest reaches of your light body, in to your chakras, your cells, your DNA, your blueprints, out to your soul's lives, in to the wisdom in your inner eye, out into your I am presence, in through the central channel of your body, out through the feet, the Earth Star, and Gaia. I am one with my infinite self. I activate my light body at optimal speed and align with my soul signature frequency. Take a deep breath in. Put that thought, intention into the breath and blow it out. 1, 2, 3. Now, be the observer from the sacred center of your heart. The energies flowing in and out, nothing to do. Receiving, releasing, giving, taking, enjoying. Now this space expands. You can feel all these colors multiplying all around you. They're blurry and they blend together. What colors are there? We call on the sacred powers of a past and ancient life, a wisdom, a school of alchemy, a school of intuitive healing, multidimensional spirit medicine. We call on the tool, the life from Atlantis or ancient Greece. We call on the Akashic record keeper that is here to guide me. I'm ready. These colors begin to change. They're moving. They're very muted and soft. It feels like a soft opening. The sphere expands. You sense your Akashic guide, perhaps see them. You now sense as you are moving. It seems like angles are all around you, and you begin to enter the colors. You keep entering the colors, and like a fractal, they open again. You feel a strong sense of your soul's essence. It feels as if it's around you, strong, and within you, centered. You keep moving through this. It's like watching a creation through time and space. You travel now. You effortlessly allow your senses and yourself to lock on to this ancient time, to this ancient power, to this ancient place. It has a beacon of light. It's bright, bright, bright. Is it red? Is it yellow? Is it sparkling? Is it sending up flares? This life, this power has been calling to you for a while. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you've felt it, maybe you've dreamt it. Now you lock onto it. Your heart begins to draw you forward like a magnetic force, locked in. This tractor beam connects you. There's nothing to do but open and relax. Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. I am that I am, and I am here as an excellent receiver, connecting, allowing all the senses that are optimal for me to open, to connect. You feel more levels of communication and clarity coming together, like watching or sensing an image coming through pixel by pixel. You begin to see or sense a particular feeling. You can tell you're entering another timeline. You begin to feel the heaviness of a body. There's some kind of a energy there in the stomach. You enter this life of your soul. You feel and sense the body. You look around. Are you indoors, outdoors, underground? You allow yourself to connect deeper into this life. Are you alone? Are there others there? Keep tuning your senses in. What's happening here? Are you afraid? Are you trapped? Are you being hurt or limited in some way? Or are you happy? Are you alive? Are you free, doing something amazing? Keep tuning in. How old do you feel? Whether you see it, sense it, feel it, or hear it, receive joyfully. Your Akashic guides are fine-tuning your connection to this life. As you begin to lock on deeper and deeper, you feel right the core of the wound. You know instantly, now. Oh, wow. You either see or know the fear, the betrayal, the death, the loss, the pain, or you see and understand what happened or who it was. Now you begin to see different images. You travel with this life. You jump from time to time. You see the past. What did this life do? How was it lived? What did it suffer? What did it know? What was it blessed with? Were there magical beings there? Did you communicate with elves? Were you living in the forest? Were you living in a castle? Were you traveling dimensions? Were you imprisoned? Were you beheaded? Were you accused? Keep moving through this life. See all the power points. See all the pain points. These are the keys. These are the strengths. These are the powers you're here to reclaim. Now you stand apart from this other life. You can sense your spirit body, your essence there. You're beginning to see this life from above. You separate from the pain. You invite the spirit of that life to float up with you higher and higher, looking down at the patterns, the wounds, the fears, the decisions, the powers. Here you rise to a point, and together you merge into 5D, releasing attachment, blame, releasing grief, regret, releasing shame, misery, loss, releasing everything that you thought it meant. The dark energy drains, liquefying through your timeline in that life. You see it melting out, pouring down, entering the ethers. A rainbow comes through, cleanses, clears, and soothes that life. A rainbow comes through, cleanses, clears, and soothes your timeline right now in this life. Now a symbol appears. Might be a symbol, might be a book, might be the image of a school, a skill, a power that you held in some ancient time, a mystery school, or a wisdom that you had from your position, from whatever you did. You are here now to remember it. It is free from the pain and the wounds. It is cleansed in the full color spectrum. And it is appearing now for you. Receive it. Take it into your heart. Whether you see or sense it, whether you know what it is, as if it has a shape or not, doesn't matter. It's your openness, your happiness, your willingness to accept it with gratitude and grace, to love it, to let it download within you. It is ripe and juicy and sweet, and it moves through your mind and your body. You feel it soothing the pains in your life right now, the fears that you've had. You feel it moving through the veins and the meridians in your body. It feels as if everything has come alive, and there's a vitamin shot, this rejuvenating energies and all of this freshness. It's so muy fresca, and it's moving through you, and you feel it pulsing now, becoming one with your heart. There's a new rhythm to it. It goes up and down the spine and enters the cerebral spinal fluid. You let it go out through the nerves, and as it enters the bloodstream, it suddenly, instantly is in every cell, everywhere. In every moment of this life, this awareness, this wisdom, this knowledge is now yours. When you were 3, when you were 7, when you were in fear, when you were in pain, when you were betrayed, when you were lost, even when you were happy, successful, in love, in orgasm. You feel this injection going deeper, and you say, yes, yes, yes. I receive and accept with great gratitude, openness. I allow this download to continue all through this week. I allow for my optimal and highest good, this rewiring to my soul's powers. I accept this one ancient life, that we are healed. Now we are one. We are one mind, and we are one heart, and we share our powers. We support each other. We know that the pain is in the past. It's an illusion that no longer is a part of the wisdom that we've gained. We know together we are stronger. We know together we are never, ever alone. Allow this part of you to give you a message or a hug. See or sense a name, symbol, feeling, and this will be your touch point for your communication. Receive it with grace, as if it is the most precious thing that you have ever received in your life. Hold it in your hands, admire it, like you would look at the most beautiful, exquisite jewel or child, flower, or sunset. Realize, recognize, this is me. I am this beauty. I am this power. I am this light. I accept, I accept, I accept. Now, take it and pour it into your heart. And take it and pour it over your head. And take it and rub your hands up your arms and rock yourself, cradling this beauty, this renewal, this resurrection, this reconnection, this beautiful moment. You are ripe. You're ready. I accept and I allow this with nurturing and love. Like any new seed, any new surgery, any new graft, any new shift in my spirit and light body. I will love and care for this. I will trust and communicate with this. I am one with this power. May the circle be open yet unbroken, and the sacred space stay as a clear path to all those who seek these powers of their truth. May the protection and light of our guardians, guides, angels of all the realms, may the beauty of our truth be revealed in our voices, in our minds, in our touch, and every step of the way. With grace and gratitude, I embrace that which I was designed to be. I accept that I am here to live the life my soul intended, and I release myself from all other obligations, from all other beliefs, identities, and fears. Now, as you come into your body, take time to feel each part of it, to realize you're not the person who came onto this call, you're not the person who began this process. You are on a quest, you are on a journey, you are a mystical, mythical, magical being. You are the creator of your story, and you are the heroine or hero within it. It's time to be on the journey, just like your favorite fairy tale or story. You've left your ordinary world and you know it. It's leaving. You've met me. I'm a magical mentor, a fairy godmother on your path. I give you secrets, powers, tools, love, rejuvenation. You will move through more powers and allies, more demons and fears. You will see and discover yourself because you are becoming who you designed yourself to be. That's why you're here. That is your purpose and your destiny. Make sure you anchor the feelings, you take notes about what you experienced, and repeat this as often as you'd like. You might repeat this every day, this process we did here for this week. As you come to the other calls, we're going to be opening doors into astrological and cosmic understanding of how powerful these effects are, how they're portals of opportunity and openings for us. We're going to be diving into all these different women and men who've been on their own magical journey. They've been through the deep, dark dungeons. They've been to the heights of the beautiful, mystical mountains. And they know that the journey is the magical part of it. So be here, accept who you are, where you are. Don't wish you were somewhere else. Invent somewhere else. Look around. You're moving there. There is guidance everywhere. Namaste, everyone. I hope I will see you tomorrow. I hope you will share this with everybody. Send them over to nanakasha.com. When they get on there, we'll send you all kinds of notifications about everything we're doing this week and the replays. You can subscribe to my channel here, hit notifications, then you'll know when we go live or when we post something. And remember to tune back in because I'm going to keep revealing my upcoming class on getting to know your soul powers, going on the mystical, magical journey to discover who you are. So thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my reality. I create my reality very intentionally. I have extricated myself from a lot of pain, a lot of vows, a lot of karma, a lot of past, a lot of secrets, a lot of slave patterns, a lot of loss patterns. I've lost money, I've lost loved ones, I've lost a daughter, I've lost all kinds of stuff. I've gained, I've succeeded, I've expanded. And now I understand that every single thing is a doorway. And it's a doorway that our soul is putting on the path. Therefore, it means that there is a guide there. There is a spirit guide. There is an energy. There's a reason that in this eclipse, this is falling apart, or this infection under your root is coming up, because you need to know if you want to clear out your financial fears and your financial entanglements and your financial identity so that you can build a new foundation, then that clearing out will be happening. But it doesn't have to be, oh, this is the end of the world. This is where I am. This didn't work. You have in every moment multiple magical doorways, multiple magical guides, multiple magical powers that you can access that will help you through anything that happens in your life. So thank you, everybody. Namaste. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. I'm going to go play with my honey bunny in the pool, and I hope that the dolphins and the elves and the fairies and the celestials and the mermaids, there was a lot of Atlanteans here. Some of you are very Lemurian. I was noticing a lot of elf energy today. There was a lot of crystal beings, and not like the crystals kingdoms, which are beautiful beings and I love them, but crystal beings that have the frequency of the crystalline energies that we're evolving into, so that we don't have to go in and out of bodies all the time unless we want to. So thank you for bringing your beautiful guides, your beautiful energies here, and I can see all of you. You're so shiny, and you're going to go out and have a very, very beautiful impact on the world. Also notice that you may be in a very vulnerable space. You may want to go within. You may want to journal. You may want to nap. You may want to take a shower or a bath, or do some incense and oils and chanting or music. You may want to go sit with your favorite tree. You may want to see what other things, but know that this power you've been reconnected to and this healing that you've experienced, it's real. It's happened. Okay? When you do this work with me, we have done this. It is done. And it is done in those higher spirit realms. Whether you see it, feel it, allow it, remember it, act from it, think from it, in your world is up to you. If you find yourself being called back into fears, or doubt girl coming up saying, oh, it didn't really happen, not for you, everybody else gets to have it, but you don't, or one of those other common voices that are there, it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. Keep opening up, clearing yourself, and reconnecting to listen to the guidance that's there for you. Have a beautiful day. Happy full moon.